Howdy, everyone. It's Sam. Welcome back to Wobble Enjoy Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. This week, the NRLW season 2024 kicks off, and in celebration, in preparation for the Cowboys charge towards that premiership, SA Banu has given up some of her time today to come in and talk some smack, talk some rugby league. And I'm so grateful because it's pretty much the busiest time of her year, of every other NRLW Cowboys year. SA Banu, we've met in person before, but I'm so grateful again to meet you once again for the first time, this time online. Thank you, SA, for some of your time. How are you this afternoon?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And look, I did bring up the graphic just a second ago. North Queensland Cowboys going down to PointsBet Stadium this Saturday, kickoff at 11 a.m. to take on the much fancy Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. And I was going to save this portion of the video to come a little bit later, but let me just get it off my chest, SA. Congratulations, you've made the 1-17. What an achievement that is to be first cab off the rank, or one of the first cabs off the rank for 2024. How are you feeling getting that jersey for kickoff this Saturday?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I actually didn't know that I was going to play, but yeah, it was a big surprise. Yeah, definitely worked hard throughout the preseason, so yeah, it's good that all the hard work has paid off towards this round one.
Yeah, it's not just the preseason that you worked hard at; it's also your BMD Premiership campaign as well that led to the selection this weekend for sure. But we'll stop right there. We'll go back a little bit. So, SA, you grew up in Tully, and then you shifted your bits down to Brisbane to have a crack at BMD Premiership footy by playing with the Wynnum Manly Seagulls initially. What was that transition like for you? Was it a smooth transition? Was it difficult? What was that period like for you, going from Tully down to the, in inverted commas, the big smoke down here in Brisbane, SA?
Yeah, it was pretty scary at first, leaving my family behind to make the big move down. But it all started probably at the Murray Carnival, where I met up with my old mates, and their dad was part of the coaching staff at Wynnum, so they were telling me, just come down, have a go, you can stay with us. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take this opportunity, and yeah, ended up making a big move, and yeah, I loved it.
Very good. And was it always rugby league for you, SA, or was union an option, or was there another sport for you that you were looking at?
Not really union, but probably netball was my first sport. Yeah, netball, touch. I never really looked at rugby league because all the boys were playing. I was like sort of scared of it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And was there any athletes that really made that light switch go turning on for you, whether it be male or female?
Um, I would say probably Jason Tamalalo. Watching him just steamroll all the players, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want to be one of those players. But yeah, he's definitely the one I looked up to. Same as Jonathan Thurston. Yeah.
And that year for you in 2022, when you played for the Seagulls, was extraordinary for you. You hit the ground running harder and faster than anyone that year in the forwards, because you won the prop of the year in 2022. That must have been that must have been such a shock to you by the time that the announcements were made that year.
Yeah, it was definitely a big surprise. I felt like I had a good year that year. But yeah, it was just like a different sort of mentality moving away from home. Like I had something to work for and I had something to prove. But yeah, it was definitely a good year that year.
So it certainly was, and you were rewarded with a Papua New Guinea debut, and you also travelled the world to play in the Rugby League World Cup. You were a part of history there where the Orchids won their first contest in a World Cup tournament. SA, your international experience, what was it like being overseas in London, in the UK, to play rugby? Would have been a huge culture shock for you. What were some of the highlights for you? And were you freezing your bits off? I imagine you would have been freezing over there that time of year.
Yeah, it was definitely an amazing experience, going over. I'd say like the traveling got to me. I'd never traveled that far in my life. But yeah, grateful for the opportunity, like, going overseas, seeing like all the movies, all the places that you'd see in movies and stuff was really cool. But yeah, it was definitely cold over there. But we went over like 2 weeks earlier just to adapt to the weather and stuff, which really
Yeah.
helped us. But yeah, once when it was raining at training, oh no, it was just too cold, like something you can't describe.
Oh, forget about it. No, forget about it. I grew up in Canberra, and nah, forget me with London for sure.
Yeah.
So being over there representing Papua New Guinea on the international stage, what did that mean to you? I know that you hadn't been to Papua New Guinea since you were a child, or since you were a baby, and then to go overseas and represent Papua New Guinea on the international stage. Did you feel any weight on top of your shoulders, or were you just there sort of just you were proud of yourself and just relishing the moment that you were in?
Yeah, it was definitely a proud moment for my family as well. But yeah, it was just another proud moment to just wear the PNG on your the PNG jumper on your chest and like representing the whole country. It definitely was a proud moment.
And then in it was last year where you played in the 2023 Pacific Championships. You scored yourself a try in the Pacific Championships out there at Port Moresby as well. You're a part of another win too. What was that experience like going back to Papua New Guinea and truly experiencing it for the first time as an adult?
Yeah, it was definitely an eye opener as well. Just seeing how everyone got by and like how they lived and stuff like that. It was just like remembering how my mother grew up and like my granddad as well. But it was definitely an amazing experience. Like with how everyone's footy crazy over there. It's just like another moment like you can't believe. But yeah, especially like when the crowd, holy, that's like another experience that you got to experience yourself.
One day, I do want to
Yeah.
go over and check out the Pacific Championships. One of these days, it will happen. Just quickly, I want to say just hello to a couple of people that have dropped in, and there's a handful of us or of yous watching. My mum's tuned in. G'day, mum. How are you? And then we got Maddie James. Hey, man, thank you so much for tuning in, dropping in. Thank you very much for your continuous support. So 2022 was an enormous year for such a young woman, a debut year for you. You absolutely exploded. And then you decided to make another move, and I assume it is for family reasons, that you shifted up further north to play for the Mackay Cutters. Was it family reason, or was there another reason as to why you chose to say, right, Winning Manly Seagulls are done, I'm going to shift my bits up north to Mackay Cutters for family reasons, or was there something else on your plate?
It definitely was. One of the main reasons was just to be closer to my family as well, but also when Cowboys announced that they were coming in for their inaugural year that year, I just sort of wanted to make up the move up there because that was their sorry, what's that word? Their feeder club. So I sort of had like some idea and like had that skills that were implemented in the Mackay system, so that could help me if I was to get chosen for cows. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And the first time I ever saw your name, the first time I ever saw you, don't mean to embarrass you, by the way, but the first time I ever saw you play was in round one for the Cutters, and you were playing against your old team that day. And I don't know if you remember it, you may do so, but
Oh,
instantly you had an absolute stormer of a contest. I think the Cutters scored the first try, and then your kickoff return I think maybe it was a 50-meter return. And since then, you just went on from strength to strength. What was it like coming up against your old side? And how much confidence did you get from that game? Because watching your game, you were one of the best three on the field that day. What was it like coming up against your old side and knowing, hey, I've actually evolved my game and I can be a little bit better than what I was last year, sort of thing.
Yeah, I was definitely looking forward to that first game back against my old club. But yeah, it was just I don't know what the word is. Um, I don't know. I was just looking forward to running it straight at my old teammates. To be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
good.
No, very good, very good. And so you chipped away for a year, you chipped away for 18 months thereabouts, and then we're going to get into one of the better parts of this conversation. This year, the Cutters, the 2024 edition of the Mackay Cutters, oh my goodness, SA Barney, like technically and statistically, the Mackay Cutters of 2024 may have not been as defensively sound as like a Valley Diehards from 2021 or what have you, but there was still such a high standard that you ladies set at the start of this season. Could you elaborate more on Coach Marco Peters, if you don't mind? Because Marco Peters was there when the Gold Stars won in 2022, took over as the head coach in 2023, and then he obviously would have gotten better. What was it like learning under Marco Peters, and just talk about the connectivity with you with Mackay Cutters from 2023 until that big day in May earlier this season?
Yeah, Marco's great. He would always tell us what our jobs was and stuff like that, and what we needed to work on week in week out. But he just sort of told us to keep it simple, which we have. But we all of us players definitely connected on and off the field, so I reckon that played a massive role towards this year.
Absolutely. And the defensive stuff, was it a selective choice? Did everyone say to each other, we're going to focus more on defense in 2024, or was it just something that came naturally? Was there a certain aspect of play that the coaching team and that you as a playing group said, we're going to focus on defense, or we're going to focus on attack? Was there something like that happened in the preseason this year for the Cutters?
Yeah, I think coming off the back of the last year's season with Cows, we definitely wanted our defense to be a lot better and stuff, and we definitely worked harder towards, during the preseason last year and towards this year as well. So that we definitely made that our number one focus to definitely work on our defense.
And then grand final day came about in May. And tell us about that game, because it was the game of the year in the BMD Premiership, bar none. 16 points to 6. The Cutters got up and won. Well done and congratulations, SA. What was that game like for you? Because I think that's one of the hardest hitting games I can recall seeing at the female level.
Yeah, that was definitely a nerve-wracking day, especially in the morning. Getting ready. Our nerves hasn't really properly settled towards until we ran on that field. But yeah, it was such a good experience. It was my first BMD grand final, so yeah, I just soaked in every minute of it and loved it. But
Yeah.
my nerves were just on another level. Yeah.
And so now we go into the NRLW Cowboys now, and so how do I say this? How easy of a transition? It must have been such a smooth transition to go from because there were about 11 or 12 of yous that were playing with the Cutters, and then you've all signed on for North Queensland. You had yourself about a 2 to 3 week break, and then you started the preseason for the NRLW Cowboys. it must be such an advantage. And through your experiences playing at the international level and at BMD Premiership level and NRLW level, it must have been such a welcome advantage to you and the rest of the team to have that campaign locked in coming into the NRLW Cowboys preseason, and you all know each other like the back of your hand in a way. How much of an advantage is it going into a preseason like that?
Yeah, it definitely was a huge advantage for us girls up in the North Queensland, like especially with having to travel away for during the BMD season. Cowboys is like in Townsville, so most of us girls are based in Townsville. But yeah, we gelled on and off the field as well, and that definitely paid off. We were more connected, and yeah, that definitely helped us going into the cow season as well.
1,000%. Now in the preseason, you ladies took a game up to Cairns, and for me personally, I think Cowboys have always been the best team in the NRL and now NRLW at getting around the community because they go as far north as you know Port Douglas, Cairns, and stuff. So you took a game up to Cairns. Did you get any of your family up there come up and say good day to you? And what was it like taking a game up to Cairns as well? Because I don't think any other NRLW team made, besides maybe the Raiders down to Wagga Wagga, I don't think any NRLW team this preseason did as much effort around the community as you ladies did.
Yeah, it's definitely a special moment for us girls, especially who grew up from from Tully all the way to Cairns. It was such a special for us, getting around the community, like showcasing a footy up there and getting involved around all the junior girls and boys up there. My family did end up coming from Tully to watch me, so I knew I had to play hard for them. Yeah, no, it was really good. My junior club, Tully, also played their round game there, so I saw a lot of them around there, which was good.
Yeah. And just on that as well, I've got this group chat. There's a group chat that I'm a part of on Twitter, and we talk everything Cowboys. We love everything that you do and everything the Cowboys girls do. And there was one question that was thrown up there and it's something that I didn't realize. You've never played at QCB Stadium. You did make your debut last year, and that was down at Totally Workwear Stadium. You get to play at Queensland Country Bank Stadium with a Cowboys jersey on. That must be the number one goal for you coming into this season.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my goals for this year as well. Yeah, it'll be such a special moment for me if I ever do make my debut in the up home here. It'll be a great experience for my family to come up from Tully as well to watch me. But yeah, that's definitely one of my main goals for the season as well.
Yep. And so this weekend, you ladies are flying down to Cronulla. You're taking on the Sharks, who I'd probably say are about fourth on the betting market to walk away with the title this season. Is it more so about focusing on yourselves? I mean, you don't have to answer it because it might be a little bit too inner sanctum, if you know what I mean. But is it more so a game where you're focusing on yourselves, or is there a little bit of study into the Cronulla Sharks NRLW side this weekend?
We sort of had like an idea around how they play and how we can sort of like shut down some of the stuff or like keep an eye on it. But we definitely are focusing on ourselves, and we definitely want to improve our defense. So that's one of our main focus for that game, as well as just sticking to our plays as well.
Yeah. And last year for the NRLW Cowboys, you ladies were dudded by injuries, and there were a couple of suspensions in there as well. But defensively, and you already did touch on it, admittedly, but just want to ask again, is there any elements that you're bringing from 2023 into 2024? Or is it just a completely different slate under Coach Ricky Henry? And how has Ricky Henry been? So, are you forgetting everything that you learnt, or or you're taking a little bit from last year under Coach Ricky Henry?
We definitely have like sort of some little plays that we've kept from last year. But Ricky's been great. His involvement with us girls. He fit in real comfortably. His coaching style is very good. We sort of do have like a new attacking structure as well, which we've all learnt, and we all adapted to it very well. Definitely. Yeah, I'm not too sure what to say.
No, no, you're right. No. Yeah, no, don't reveal too many secrets, let's say. My bloody
Yeah.
goodness, that's the last thing we want happening for the Sharks this weekend, because I know there's a couple of Sharks people watching right now. But the last thing that I want to get to now is just what would you say to an aspiring young woman from North Queensland or even Papua New Guinea? If you could go back in time and talk to yourself from 10 years ago, what sort of advice would you give a young SA Banu?
Sort of, if you have a goal, go for it. I think one of the main ones advice from me is probably like don't be scared to like sort of move away from home just so you get more opportunities. That moving away from home, home's always there. You just got to get out there, explore. You never know who's watching, like what doors can open, and you'll see all the opportunities open from there as well.
SA Banu, when are you ladies going, by the way? When are you going down tomorrow or in a couple of days, or is it like a fly in, fly out on Saturday?
Yeah, we sort of do our captain's run Friday morning, then we fly out, and then we play on a Saturday and then fly back in that night.
Well, SA Banu, you know how passionate I am for the NRLW Cowboys. You know how much of a fan I am of you and the entire Mackay Cutters team. Thank you so much from a personal perspective for being just so open with me and welcoming towards me throughout the entire year so far. And I'll definitely be seeing you guys in person when you come down to Brisbane as well. But SA Banu, just such a massive fan of you, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your seriously busy schedule this weekend. This week of all friggin' weeks, an average Joe asking for your time, and you're in the midst of it all. I'm so grateful, and I'm extremely lucky. And thank you to the North Queensland Cowboys as well, specifically Miss Anita Krenornane. I absolutely went head over heels sort of thing when she responded to me emails. So thank you very much, SA Banu. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. And I guess we'll see you in Brisbane.
If not, you'll friggin' hear me. You'll friggin' hear me when you're down in Brizzy, SA. To everyone that tuned in or tuning in or left a comment, thank you so much for your time. And look, only thing to say is hashtag Cowboys NRLW Premiers 2024. Go you Cowboys. Thank you, SA. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Same to you. Bye.